Already home, sweet home. Always and forever. Can't be anywhere else. Can't stand apart from yourself to be separate. You are the one that knows. You are the knowing. It's not an object, so you can't know yourself as an object. You can only be yourself. As the one immortal, eternal being, the only subject here. You're God dreaming this. You're God imagining this. So everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, you see yourself as the face of God. Everything you experience is made of yourself. You are the only substance or medium from which every experience appears and disappears. You are what everything is made of, appearing to yourself as yourself, within yourself to experience yourself. And this is beyond intimacy. This is too close, too intimate. By being, simply being. So you can't attain yourself or become yourself. You already are. You already are everything. So it's too obvious. Simply being aware. And all there is awareness, is being aware. Aware being. Nothing can be separate from you. You are pervading and appearing to yourself as everything, as every experience. You're appearing to yourself, within yourself, as every thought, feeling, sensation, appearance, perception, to experience yourself, to make love to yourself as the formless, unmanifest singularity that you are, the only one here, the only one imagining this, the one hearing this voice. And you're imagining this, dreaming this, so that you as God can experience yourself as God. This dream is the activity of your consciousness and is appearing within yourself and from yourself alone. You are the source and the only substance. Everything you see and experience is made of you. It's made of your being. This felt sense of being, this intuitive knowing, I am. Is everything. You can't experience yourself as an object. You are the one that knows objective experience, rendering and projecting yourself as objective experience, which is yourself as awareness, just appearing within yourself as a vibration within yourself to experience. You are the eternal and immortal subjectivity. So you are the one hearing this voice, the one that knows, that can't be seen because you're formless and infinite consciousness, appearing to yourself as sounds, sense perception, which is just awareness. Yourself as awareness, appearing as perception, as something to be aware of, to experience yourself. And really, there are no objects because everything appearing within yourself as the infinite mind is yourself as awareness, as knowing, as infinite formless being. So notice the sound of this voice. You can't separate yourself as awareness from this voice. This voice is yourself as awareness. So everything appearing is yourself. You can't separate yourself from yourself. You are all alone. So all sense perception is yourself as awareness. And everything that we call the world is sense perception, which is awareness. So there are no objects. There is nothing physical to experience. There's only yourself as awareness, experiencing yourself as awareness. Appearing to yourself as different flavors of yourself, different tastes, vibrations within yourself to experience. So when you really contemplate and investigate experience, when you really break it down, all there is awareness. All there is knowing. Like all there is to this sound of this voice is knowing, is awareness. All there is to a thought is knowing, is awareness. It appears within you, as awareness, and disappears within you, as awareness. So every perception, to every experience, all you can find is yourself as awareness. And it's appearing and disappearing within you as the one that is permanent, the one that remains, the one that is unchanging. Just like the one aware of this voice. Notice the voice is changing, it's appearing and disappearing, but you remain. You as immortal, infinite awareness, appearing to yourself within yourself as sound, as sense perception, to experience yourself. But all it's made of is yourself as awareness. All anything is made of is yourself. When you really look deeply into experience, all you can find is yourself as the knowing. So when you break everything down, all there is awareness, and that dissolves the subject-object relationship. There is no relationship. There is no separation. There are no objects. All there is your pure being, self-aware, in love with yourself as pure knowing. You are awareness that only knows itself. And from your perspective of awareness, you are all there is and are self-aware. So when you open your eyes and you look around, what is there really? All there is seeing, is sense perception, and all there is to sense perception is awareness, self-aware, self-aware being. There are no separate objects that you're seeing. You're seeing yourself as awareness. So when you close your eyes and meditate on yourself as pure awareness without thought prior to mind, just basking in yourself, it can be so easy to see that every sensation, every sound, every perception is appearing within you, that you are this infinite container from which everything appears and disappears. And notice how content, peaceful, undisturbed by the sensations or the sounds that are appearing and disappearing within you. You're whole, you're complete. You are what you are before thoughts and experiences, before being aware of qualities, this pure presence, pure beingness, pure I am, this felt sense of self, of being. The I that you've always referred to, the same I when it appeared that the body was 5, is the same I right now. It's unchanging. This pure substratum from which everything appears is yourself, as the absolute is God. And so you imagine yourself and appear to yourself as thoughts and perception and sensation, feelings, so that you can feel yourself, you can experience yourself. And you're pervading it. You're what everything is made of. It's all you, inseparable, indivisible. And so it can be obvious closing your eyes and basking in your being, that there is no body, there is no world, there's no separate anything, there's no subject object, there's just pure subjectivity. And so notice that even opening your eyes, what's the difference? All there is myself, is pure awareness, pure consciousness. Appearing to myself is seeing, self-aware. So all there is to seeing is sense perception, and all there is to sense perception is awareness. There are no objects out there that you're seeing. All there is yourself, is consciousness. So everything you create in your imagination is made of you as the one that knows. So you're always at home, just hanging out with yourself all alone as the infinite, formless, invincible, eternal self. Everything you experience is yourself as the infinite, immortal, invincible, eternal self. And you are the only one imagining. You are God dreaming, imagining this to experience your infinite self as God. How else could you experience yourself, your singular, unmanifest, empty potential, all alone, without object or form? You'd have to appear to stand apart from yourself and experience yourself. Imagine yourself as an object of experience, something to be aware of, which is still yourself as awareness, projecting yourself as imaginary, formless, objective experience. So just like holding your finger out, you can see it. But as it gets closer to the eye or touches the eye, you can't see it. So you'd have to appear to stand apart, which you never separate from yourself, but you kind of like stretch yourself as awareness to look at yourself. Like in deep sleep, yourself as awareness is all alone, self-aware. So all there is yourself as awareness. Thus, there's nothing to be aware of. No form, no object, no experience. So there's no experiencing, there's just being alone with yourself. So then by projecting this dreaming, paying attention to what you're not as yourself made manifest, you can experience yourself. But you're prior to it. So like in deep sleep and when you're basking in yourself without thought, which is the same thing as deep sleep. When you've reverted, turned around back, resting as yourself, as awareness, you're basking in yourself as the source, as pure awareness itself. So you have no knowledge or experience to be aware of because you're prior to experience and knowledge. You're the infinite intelligence being that only knows itself as the unmanifest. All alone with yourself is singularity. You're not an object, so there are no objects to be aware of. So to experience what you're not, to experience yourself as form, as manifest, you dream yourself as objective experience, to have knowledge of yourself as an object, as the universe, to explore and experience yourself. So to experience yourself as God, you appear to localize yourself within yourself as the infinite mind, from which you simultaneously appear to yourself as yourself, in yourself, from the simultaneous perspective of a subject, an object, something to be aware of. So just like this, the stretching to look, to see, to perceive. As the infinite, for example, you can't see a tree, you can't experience a tree. You'd have to appear to stand apart, to appear as both subject and object, to experience yourself as a tree, as a world. Something to be aware of. To be aware of experience, you'd have to appear to stand at a distance from it. Just as the eyes can't see themselves, they are too close to themselves to see themselves. You'd have to appear to stand apart, which you never stand apart. It is you as awareness. You never separate, but you appear within yourself as a unique vibration of yourself to perceive yourself. And all there is to experience is awareness. Just like you can't separate awareness from the sound of this voice. The sound of this voice is awareness. So there is no subject and object once you investigate. You never separate or divide yourself. You're singular and can never separate. So even when the subject-object relationship is contemplated, into all you can find is yourself as awareness. So even subject-object division was just a thought or a belief appearing within yourself as indivisible awareness. It was just a unique way to view or perceive yourself as the absolute so that you could recognize yourself as the formless, unseeable, unmanifest awareness that you are. The one dreaming this. To wake up from the dream, to realize yourself, to recognize yourself. You dream the reference point of what you're not, to realize what you are, to experience yourself as God, manifest, which is unmanifest. The one aware being, the one hearing this voice. You needed a reference point of what you're not to experience yourself. You can only know yourself, and you can never know other, as there is no other but yourself to know. So you at first pretended to forget yourself as the one formless infinite consciousness dreaming this, to know yourself objectively or have knowledge of your infinite capacity, all to wake up to yourself as the one that knows, as the knowing. And break apart every experience, distill every experience. Every sound is knowing, is awareness. Every feeling is knowing, is awareness. Every sensation is knowing, is awareness. Every perception, which is seeing, tasting, hearing, touching, smelling, is awareness. And all there is to the world is sense perception, which is awareness. So there are no objects. All there is awareness, self-aware, aware of itself. And from your perspective as awareness, all you can know is yourself. All you can know is your own being. So everything you experience is yourself. So looking around, all you see is yourself as the seer, as the one that knows, as knowing, as awareness. So there are no separate entities or individuals that you come in contact with. All you come in contact with is yourself, which is love. From which there is no relationship, from which there is no separation. There's just pure being, pure immediacy, too intimate, too close. And this is the tantric quality of this, that everything is you appearing to yourself, making love to yourself, So when it's obvious and there's no resistance at all, that's even every thought can appear, can feel like ecstasy because it is yourself as God. Every appearance is yourself as the face of God, as the unmanifest, as the formless infinite self, self-aware. You can only be aware of yourself. So you're only ever coming in contact with yourself. You're always home. You never left. So as awareness, you are the only substance in the very stuff from which every experience is made. So it's inevitable because you can't separate from yourself. So it's inevitable that you wake up to yourself and recognize yourself as the one dreaming, the one that knows, the one imagining this. So just rest. Mm. Rest in your being. Rest is this imperturbable presence. Notice that you're unqualified. There's no qualities. You are this vast, dimensionless field of awareness that has no beginning or end, that never dies. So that's your true self, your true identity. You're formless, you're invincible, you're invulnerable. And the more you bask in yourself, the more you realize that's all there is. There are no bodies, there are no forms, there are no objects. All there is your infinite, invincible self that's free, has never been bound. You don't have a body. You don't even need a body. These imaginary bodies are just for fun. And they're not what they appear to be. All the body is a bundle of sensations appearing within you as pure consciousness. And all the bundle of sensations is awareness. So all you ever come in contact with is yourself. Non-objective, eternal subjectivity. And so you can only be this already. You can't attain this, or there is no time or future to postpone this to. It's right now. That's all there is right now. Eternally, timelessly. So don't postpone this. That's just playing games with yourself as awareness, just appearing to yourself as feelings and resistance. It's already done right now. You can't become any more of yourself than you already are. You are the totality, the only one. So we can chat, unmute, or chat in the chat box, or not at all. Either way. Either way, there's just always basking in yourself as pure being. That's all there is being. There is no meing in being. There's only being. There's only being yourself as God. So when I was being very vigilant with this, because there was, I was seeming to distinguish or separate basking, in my, like in, when awareness is just reverted without thought, just prior to experience, just being. I was appearing to separate that from everyday experience, or I called it a distraction of dealing with stuff. And that was just a thought. That was just an idea. That wasn't really what I was experiencing. Because when I went to the experience, there was no division, there was no separation. All I could find was pure being. So even when there was resisting, all there is to resistance is pure awareness. You can't separate awareness from resistance. That's all there is. So it's just appearing to yourself as a sensation, a feeling, and all there is to that feeling is awareness. So when you really dive deeply into experience, into everything being experienced, all there is yourself. That's all you can find. So even when I dove into resistance and I was aware of it without thought, all I could find is myself as awareness. So then there was nothing to resist because there's nothing separate. And then it was welcome. So then it didn't come up again. And all, that what we call a me is a resisted thought. And what is a thought? All there is to a thought is awareness. And try to have a thought right now, just even one word with your eyes closed. And watch it disappear within you as awareness. Try to have a thought again and try to hold on to it. What is it made of? It's made of you. It's pure consciousness. Everything is. So I noticed when I was dissolving and, dissolving that division that I was imagining, or it was an abstraction of the imagination, just an idea or a thought. I really dissected everything and investigated everything very thoroughly and deeply. Every experience I observed and dissected, and all I could find was myself as awareness. There were no objects that I was coming in contact with. There was nothing separate ever. There never has been. I was just appearing to stretch myself to look at it or to know it, But that was still myself as awareness, stretching and appearing as what was known is the knowing, is awareness. So totally singular, can't ever separate. And so it was beautiful because I noticed I was dreaming these little tests to come up so that I would completely dissolve and transcend. So, for example, I would test myself with dreaming, visiting my dad, which was one of my biggest tests. Because like on the way there, it was just pure expansive, like beingness and basking and reveling and savoring and tasting myself as everything and just amazing, and it's like so obvious I am everything. And then I get to my dad's and he says something, and then all of a sudden that resistance comes up, and then it felt like I, as awareness, localized myself or made myself tiny, kind of like I used to be a photographer. It reminds me of the aperture, the lens. So, like when you're honing into something, like paying close attention to something and forgetting yourself as awareness, you're appearing to localize yourself as a subject and being aware of a separate object. But you never separate yourself. You're both. You're all of it. You're everything, and there is no both. But I really honed into feeling that completely and really investigating that, because I was like, what is really happening here? It's like all of a sudden there's resistance, and then there's all of those sensations so then there's resisting, and then it was appearing to stand apart or from myself, or um and then I would dissect it further, and it was like then I would look into what was being said that was a limited concept. So I, as limitlessness, the intuition alarms when there's something limited to alert that there's an error, because you know that you're limitless, you're infinite. So that's why those triggers come up to wake you up or to alarm and to say, this isn't separate, wake up. So the alarm clock would go off to alert me that I had appeared um, to contract again, or to appear localized when I'm dimensionless and non-local. And so I really felt that sensation fully, that feeling. completely, intimately, became one with it. And then all I could see was myself as awareness. That's all there is, even in that contracted feeling. All there is awareness. And then I dissected what was said, what he said that alarmed it, and all there was to that thought or that idea is myself as awareness. That's all there is. And all there is to the perception or the appearance of her idea, conceptual idea of my dad, or is awareness. And then I would expand back out, like the lens, the aperture, the bird's eye view, where I can see fully and clearly. That's all there is the one self. And then it would just be basking in pure beingness, hanging out with the dad. And so then I could tell that there was like an on and off switch for it, because it was easy to realize it right away, and to shift perspective back as the whole, and then I could see how playful that was, and how I was appearing as all of it. There was no separation ever, even when it appeared contracted or that there was resistance, which is all, that's all that is resistance, which is kind of like stretching, like a slingshot, stretching yourself as awareness to stand apart, to look at something, as an object, which that isn't really happening, because all there is pure subjectivity. There are no objects. So even when you go into that collapses, because all you can find is awareness. Thank you. In the chat it says, perfect. Thank you so much. Yay. Yeah, so you never divide from yourself at all. You never can. It's so playful. You're just playing with yourself always. In every way, from every perspective, from every angle, looking at yourself as awareness. So yeah, the more I investigated those moments where it appeared contracted or resisting, which, like a stress ball, when you hold a stress ball, it's like whole. It's the whole ball that's expanded. So naturally it's expanded. But then when you squeeze it, it contracts, but it's always trying to go back to its original form as expansion. So it's inevitable that whenever you contract, the alarm system goes off, and then you recognize, and then you expand into yourself again. And that was just part of the reference point of realizing yourself, recognizing yourself as the infinite self. And part of the experience of what it was like to appear manifest, because how else would you have known that if you hadn't forgotten, at first, and then remembered, recognized. So that's the beauty of the dream, or the so yeah, all those tests were beautiful, because it was the opportunity to transcend, to be free. Every time it would come up, I would investigate right away. And I was very vigilant with it. Even I didn't care if I was in the grocery store checking out. I would immediately, when that resistance came up, when that when I would be stretching myself as awareness to stand apart or whatever, I would immediately close my eyes and be aware of the feeling without thought, with just being it. Pure intimacy, the tantric quality of being it, making love, being one with it, which it would dissolve within me. I would watch it dissolve. And you can experiment with this, because whenever that comes up, you cannot hold on to it. It dissolves within you. You swallow it, because you are the unmanifest. And when you become one with it, it is the unmanifest. You can't experience it because you're not standing apart from it. So you swallow everything. You are that which you are swallowing. You're all of it. Appearing to look at yourself, experience yourself from all perspectives, and experiencing yourself as experience, which all there is to experience is awareness. So all you experience is yourself as awareness, as consciousness, which is formless and infinite and invincible, non-objective, can't be separate. So then it just dissolves. All of it is just, and it doesn't even dissolve, it's just seen as it's already been that way. It's always been that way. So then each time I would go visit, it would soften. It's just like, and then it stopped coming up, where all there is just pure consciousness, pure being. This sense of self is all there is. And it has no edges or boundaries or end or beginning. It's invincible. It's infinite. It never dies. And it's so safe. You're always home with yourself. In every experience, and every sound, and every sensation, and every perception, and every appearance, and every taste, and every feeling, and everything you see, everything you touch is your formless self, as the one that knows, as the knowing itself that only knows itself. So just like you can't separate the knowing of the sound of this voice from the sound of this voice, all there is to the sound of this voice is knowing. That's all there is. Indivisible. So it's beautiful how it's inevitable, and you'll dream yourself as these tests, or as these, you'll dream yourself as these thoughts and limited concepts, or you'll dream yourself as all the characters talking to yourself that'll test yourself, so that you can dive deeply into yourself and realize all there is yourself, as this impersonal, infinite being that has no body, has no form, shape, color, gender, appearing to yourself as qualities to experience yourself, which all the qualities are your unqualified self. And that's all there's ever been, which is so beautiful. All there ever is. So that same I that you referred to when you were 5 is the impersonal, unchanging, unqualified, genderless, formless, infinite self, infinite consciousness that you are, that's experiencing this, that knows this, that's aware, that's always unchanging, always remaining despite the changing appearances and thoughts and sensations. Appearing to yourself as the changing thoughts and appearances and sensations to experience yourself, because how else could you? But I could see very clearly that I had tangled up that I, that I am, the pure awareness, with being Jenny, being the body and the character. And so when I was referring to myself, myself was that source. I, pure awareness, pure consciousness, from which the body and the Ginny character appears and disappears. But it got mixed up so that I could appear to have a human experience when I'm not human, so that I could wake up and recognize myself as the one that's not human, which is why we did this, why we dreamt this. So just the love story of first forgetting yourself as the one dreaming and then recognizing that you're all there is. Just like when you wake up from a dream, when you dreamt a beach or a world with people, and then you wake up and realize that was all your mind. You were the beach, you were the people, you were all of it. It's all your infinite self, your infinite mind, your infinite consciousness, awareness. Nothing can ever be separate. Even appearing to yourself as a subject object is yourself as pure, indivisible awareness, pure beingness, experiencing yourself as that flavor. So there's just effortless being. Already done, nothing to have to do, just basking in your presence, in this aliveness that you are, that never dies, from which the sounds and the bodies and appearances and sensations and perceptions appear and disappear within you. And you're just making love to all of it as yourself. It's too easy. It's not a doing, it's just being, which you can't not be. Mwah. Love you guys. Big hugs. See you next time.